Holy crap. Oh no, he survived with like 1 HP. I'm depressed. That works! Freaking 1 HP survival! Yes! Got him. You thought I couldn't see you, bud? That's cute. Oh, sorry. Dex has by far the best ranged nuke in the game, the Ancient Lightning Spear. I absolutely love this Ashivore. It was recently buffed with patch 1.04. Namely, now you can cast it way faster if you just tap the button, like so. Bam! Comes out really, really fast, and that'll do 1k damage. You might think because it comes out so quick that it's not very strong. That's a very quick projectile, quickly cast, that'll do about 1k damage to a person. If you manage to fully charge it up on this build that I've optimized, I'll usually hit around 17, 1800, sometimes even 1900, and it could be optimized even further. You could probably hit over 2000 if you wanted to, and I could show you exactly how to do that if you so choose. Now, this Ash of War, the Ancient Lightning Spear, goes on the Bolt of GRANSAX Spear. This is a fairly endgame lightning spear, but as you know, lightning is a Dex thing now. It's not really a faith thing. Yes, of course, for incantations, it's a faith thing. You can cast lightning spells using faith, but when it comes to melee weapons, the lightning weapons scale off of Dex, which is weird. And even if you throw on an affinity, a lightning affinity, that doesn't add faith scaling, it adds Dex scaling. I don't know why they did that in this game, but yeah, lightning really is for Dex now, which is odd. And apparently lightning spears are for Dex too, because faith can cast a lightning spear, let's say around that same speed, I'll do about 700 damage, but it's like a slower projectile. It's not nearly as effective. And this is like a very quick 1k damage that can be charged up to like 1.8k. But anyways, we'll get to that in a moment. This spear though, it's not very special. I don't really like fighting with it. I don't think it's very good for melee combat. I don't like spears in general. And even among spears, I don't think this is a particularly good one. I only use it for that Ash of War, which is more than worth it just for that Ash of War. But what weapon do I actually use for melee combat up close? I use this one, the Dragon King's Crag Blade. This is a very nice weapon. I believe it's a boss weapon from the Dragon King Placidusax, if I remember correctly. Heavy thrusting swords are the best weapon class in the game. I love them. The running R2s are so good. Really nice for catching people that are running away from you. And you can kind of run around if someone's being squirmy with like Moon Veil or something. You just need to dodge, and then you can very quickly close the gap with this poke. And it'll generally poise break like almost anything with very, very nice damage. And it's a very quick way to get in, get out, quick poke, get out of the way. And you can also thrust into people to try to catch them in their rolls. It's very cool. I absolutely love heavy thrusting swords. And this one is very, very nice because it does have a lot of lightning damage built into it. And since this is a lightning build, and I'll show you, we do have ways that we boost our lightning damage, we can make this do quite a bit of lightning DPS to people and poke them pretty hard. But I gotta say though, where this weapon really shines is the Ash of War. I believe it's called Thundercloud form. Yes, they buffed this with the recent patch. Just like with the Ancient Lightning Spear, you can quick cast it. If you just tap the button, you hit the ground pretty quick, and people don't see it coming. They expect the cast to take a while. They don't expect you to be able to go up and down so quickly. I've consistently hit around 1400 damage with that quick tap, which is amazing. And if you full charge it, it's a little bit harder to hit people with the full charge because it doesn't turn very well. If they try to run around you or get behind you, you'll have very hard time trying to track them. It doesn't turn super well, and they can leave you wide open. But sometimes if someone seems like they're rolling backwards a lot, they're trying to run away, I can catch them with that. But usually I try to do the quick cast for just a quick 1400 damage burst. It's very, very powerful. Do be aware also that when you're in that cloud form, you are not invincible. It looks like you should be, but I promise you, you are not invincible. You can be attacked while you're in that cloud form, which is really, really dumb. I would love for them to patch it at some point so that you actually can't be hit while in that cloud form. I mean, you're a hecking lightning cloud. You shouldn't be touchable. But yeah, you can be flying around holding the full cast, and people can actually hit you while you're in that cloud, which is very obnoxious. I don't know why they do that. Very, very bizarre. Now, it is also worth mentioning that I do have the Lightning Bloodhound Claws just in my inventory, and this is really only there for one reason. If you're fighting a turtle poke person, someone that's poking behind a great shield, like a fingerprint shield, you're going to want these because they'll help you get around their guard. The Bloodhound Claws in and of themselves already get around shields very nicely. You can see the curve allows the weapon to slip through an enemy's guard. No, it's not conditional. You don't need to do a heavy attack or anything like that. Just basic light attacks will do a lot of chip damage to someone's guard, even if they have 100% physical damage reduction. But on top of that, since these are lightning, and this build is very optimized for lightning, you've got the lightning chip damage, and then you've got the weapon itself doing its own chip damage. So I really only pull these out if I'm dealing with a turtle poke person, but in general, I never really use it. The only two weapons you really need are the Dragon King's Crag Blade and the Bolt of GRANSAX. Now, do be aware, you see those red X's. I can only use these weapons two-handed, so get in the habit when you swap to them to two-hand, and you might think, oh, that's a little bit annoying. Well, you can adjust the build if you want if that annoys you, but personally, you're really only going to want to be two-handing the Dragon King's Crag Blade at all times whenever you're using it, and it really doesn't take that much longer to just two-hand this spear real quick. like before you pop the Ash of War. Easy peasy. Now let's talk about the build itself. I use the Okina mask that gives +3 dexterity. It's a nice little stat efficient item for the build. Do be aware though that it lowers your focus, so that means you are more vulnerable to madness and sleep, but they did recently nerf madness and no one really uses sleep, so it's not really that big of a deal. Veterans armor, veterans gauntlets, and Blide's greaves. You can see we're at 61 poise with all three of these. That's the critical number that you want to hit so that basic one-handed weapons aren't going to stagger you very easily. As for the talismans, we've got Godfrey icon, so if we fully charge the Ashes of War both for the Ancient Lightning Spear and for the Thundercloud, it'll do 15% more damage. We've also got Lightning Scorpion Charm, pretty straightforward. These are both lightning weapons, they'll do more damage, and our Ashes of War will also do more damage. Shard of Alexander boosts the skill damage. We use our skills a lot, so that we definitely benefit from that. Erdtree's Favor +2, pretty straightforward, more HP, stamina, and equipment load. It is worth mentioning there is an alternative. If you want to do even more damage on the initial Ancient Lightning Spear, there's a way we can make a talisman swap to do 10% more damage, but I don't really feel like it's worth it. It's up to you. I prefer Erdtree Favors +2. If you want, you can instead put the Ritual Sword Talisman. You can see it raises attack power when HP is at maximum. The attack raises 10%. So when you start a fight, like if you're going into an invasion and there's 3 people that are maybe like distracted or they're not super focused or they're not ready for you, then sure, your Lightning Spear will do 10% more damage. It will more reliably secure one shot for you. But honestly, it makes the rest of the build suffer in a lot of ways. Like because the equipment load goes down, you'll have to pull points from Vigor to raise endurance to compensate. Not to mention you lose the HP and stamina boost. And if you take so much as one hit from like anything, if someone sneezes on you, the boost is gone and that's just dead weight in your talisman bar. Yeah, you can swap it mid-combat real quickly, but like, I don't know, why deal with all that? It's not worth it. The Lightning Spear does enough damage as it is. You don't really need that 10%. But I'm just letting you know it's an option. If you want to go pure sniper, you can throw on that other talisman instead. Now, let's talk about the stats. I was not able to reach 60 Vigor for this build, but 58, it's close enough, extremely close for level to 125. Mind is baseline. That might surprise you for something that uses its Ashes of War, but honestly, it's not like they're rapid cast Ashes of War. You'll usually be able to cast like 3 or so before you have to drink a cerulean tear flask, which of course make sure to bring a few of these so that you can replenish your mana. It's not really that big of a deal, but sure, if you want to pull points from Vigor to raise mine, by all means go for it, but I didn't really feel like I needed more than baseline. I needed 30 endurance with this setup in order to be able to minimum roll. Strength is left baseline because I'm always two-handing. Dexterity at 70. Remember, 3 of that comes from the Okina mask, so it's actually 67. And then I get 10 more when I pop my Flask of Wondrous Physic because we have the Dexterity Not Crystal tier, which temporarily boosts Dex by 10, so we get that nice 80 soft cap. And while we're talking about the Flask of Wondrous Physic, let's mention we also have a Lightning Shroud and Crack tier, which boosts the lightning attack damage as well. The rest of the build is baseline. Intelligence, Faith, and Arcane are untouched, just like mine. And that is pretty much it for the build. If you found it helpful, please leave a like. I do appreciate the support. It means a lot to me. Best of luck with your invasions.